Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Or
Good.
White Stallion.
Or White
No, I'm not doing it.
We're a little behind the scenes. We're
Gotta
trying
watch
to
Twitch to
think
see
of
behind the
some
scenes.
costuming that we want to do. We want to
You
take...
messed up because every 90s radio show host knows they hit gold when the name that they give the person they don't really like that much.
No, she liked she was okay with the name.
I love Megan
She
Thee
was
Stallion.
okay with the name.
But,
It was
but
just-
but you don't like White Stallion, and I do, and you don't like it. That's when it really digs
What
it
about
in.
Tight Stallion? It makes it less racial. It makes
Yeah,
it
but-
more, you know.
Well, what the hell you think I'm going for this 90s radio name?
How about
No,
It's
he's
gotta
going
be-
for racist.
It's got to be
White Tight?
racist
White Tight
or
And
Stallion.
sexist. It's both, yeah.
Is what racist?
WTS,
sexist?
White Tight Stallion.
That could be. You can abbreviate it. That's fine.
White
But,
and tight.
As time goes by, you have to abbreviate it. But we all know what it means.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
It's like the R word. You're
I
saying.
got timestamps on when you guys said it, so just watch
No,
it.
no.
I
I'm
contend.
about to give you some new timestamps.
I said it, but in the way I said it, it's kind of okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like
in 2009.
It's kind of how certain people treat certain words that only they're allowed to say because they are those people. Is that what you're saying?
no.
Oh no.
Let's do a weird job.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another weird. The chat room wants her to use the name Super Sam. I'm sorry, but that's just boring. Super Sam? What are we?
That was one person.
What are we, Sesame Street?
I see what you're doing with the Super Dave, but there's only one Super Dave.
No.
And we're not stealing his name. It's too good.
It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you. Oh my God, I got the name. BTS. Thank you.
What,
Oh, I got it.
Well,
We get sued for that, though? Oh, they broke up, though.
sued.
Did BTS break up?
Yeah.
Oh no, when did
I
this
think
happen?
they're all going solo.
No!
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Florida. If
Yes.
you need a mortgage, if you need a refi, if you need a home equity conversion loan,
Yeah. If
which
you
is,
need a friend.
Reverse mortgage, you have to be over 62. It's completely different than it used to be. Talk to them. Get the money out of your house. Make your house work for
Yes.
you. Stop paying your monthly mortgage payment and let your house pay you every month.
And if you're like me, have your wife call and figure it out.
Yeah, it's Streamline Mortgage Solutions. Now in California, you can go to streamlinecalifornia.com if you live out there.
Easier to spell Florida.
All right, Jessica's on the line. How you doing, Jessica?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. What is your weird job?
So I don't do my weird job anymore, but
Okay.
for over 10 years, I was a corporate event planner.
You have the voice of a corporate event planner, and that is a compliment. You command when
Oh,
you
well,
talk.
thank you.
When you talk naturally, and I'm giving you this gift because I'm a professional at judging people. I can hear in your voice that you're very direct and you're very organized, and
You have to be.
There's a certain amount of
We need your
confidence.
help.
There's some confidence in what she says. You know, are you feeling the values in her words?
Strong women.
Strong women make the world go round.
They
What?
also intimidate me because I'm like, oh, she's.
You better be nice.
Why is she so strong? I should be stronger, but I'm not.
So, Jessica, how did you fall into this type of career or job?
It's exactly like you said. I completely fell into it. I was a graduate at UCF from, it was a communications degree in 2004. And they found my resume on monster.com. And I had previous, I guess, of doing events as an intern. And a bot must have picked me up, and that's how I got the job.
Were there bots in 04?
Oh, yeah. The
Gas
beginning
power.
bots,
They're gas-powered bots.
It might have been beginning. They weren't very good because it was literally like it wasn't a lot of event experience, but they they picked up on that. Although they picked me because they wanted someone who was good at communicating, they said. They thought they could teach the event part. They just needed someone who could write, I guess, and wasn't a total dodo.
Here's what I hear
got
in your, just to describe to the layman what I hear in your voice that I don't think anybody else would hear, is that when I picked up your phone, you were like, "Oh, hi." You sounded as if you were already doing something important and I was interrupting your importance. And there is a skill to sounding like that.
Yeah.
I'm serious when I say that.
You put the person on tilt, and you're like, "Oh, I'm bothering them."
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So you already elevated yourself naturally. When I talked to you, you were like, "Oh, hi!" Like I'm like some idiot interrupting your day, which made me, like Tom said, made us both sexually attracted to you.
That's that's the beginning lessons of grifter school.
Yes.
You put the person on tilt.
Confidence.
So Jessica, what events did you plan? Maybe you can't name the actual company, but is it giant corporation? What are we talking?
It was a really big corporation, but it's a B2B company. I think like Initech from Office Space. Honestly, they were a very big company. I think when I left, they had 60,000 employees worldwide.
Wow.
And I worked in their event planning department. So these were, Tom, you really got me kind of thinking about it. You had said a few weeks ago you were talking about, I think it was insurance conventions and things like that.
Yeah.
So these were like user group meetings, like people who use our products, getting together, board meetings, analyst meetings, things like that.
So gigantic waste of time and money.
Humongous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Really, but you hit the nail on the head, honestly. The true value in it is just that social aspect. It's enjoyable for these people to get together with someone that they're working with who, I don't know, they work in Cincinnati, someone works in Malaysia, and they get to see each other once a year and drink, and that was really the true value.
It's interesting
to
me what
absolutely.
a person from Malaysia and Cincinnati would have in common.
Well, when you're working on the same product, but
you
actually
like Joe
Burrow?
Joe who?
Although Jessica, you've seen all these things, and I'll often wonder if they just didn't do it at all, how much would their company feel it? Would it matter at all?
Yeah.
Would it be a zero? Would they see no difference in their revenue whatsoever?
You take it away.
I feel like if they just stopped doing it, like in the insurance convention or whatever convention, these gigantic corporations, sometimes they pull their money. And
you're always obsessed with what did it matter? What did it mean? What was the value?
Yeah, what if Bud Light never ran a Super Bowl commercial? It's impossible to quantify the Super Bowl commercial. They have to do it in their own minds because it's we're Bud Light.
Now at this point, if they don't do it, they're failing.
Maybe people would talk and it'd be negative press. But if you I often wonder if you never did these conventions at all, I bet you there would be zero change in revenue, and they'd notice no difference whatsoever in day to day or the yearly reports or whatever. It would probably, if they stopped doing it for 5 years, maybe they'd notice a difference. But 1 or 2 years,
every
other
don't
matter.
Something like that.
Sorry,
Jessica. It was kind of almost. Oh no! I can't, it's hard to answer that question, but that kind of did happen with COVID because I couldn't have these events.
Yeah.
I know some of them permanently. A great example I've got is people don't even want to go to them all the time. The analyst event when I first started was this whole half a week. They fly in, they go to a golf resort, they're golfing, then there's a dinner, then there's the actual meeting, and over time that got shorter and shorter. They don't want to take the time to fly down to Florida anymore. Now we're going to New York to see them just for half a day, and then they don't even want to do that. Now it's just a call.
I think
it's just a virtual event.
It kind of felt and I know this all kind of shook out earlier on of the pandemic, but I remember the feeling of since we've had the great kind of stop, the great pause button.
Yeah.
Everybody, it made people appreciate their homes and appreciate working from home and actually just appreciate not traveling. Because it feels like, at least from my perspective, we were so caught up in going and doing that we never understood that the other option would be to stop. And that's kind of nice. So you see this now, it's like, oh, go to Florida. And then you're looking at values now. You're looking at it like, well, how's that going to move the needle? You do this all the time. And I think that Joe Average is doing that now. And they're like, it's going to do nothing. I'm not going.
Yeah. A lot of companies realized because of COVID, like they stopped doing something they always did. And then it was like, oh,
why were we doing that?
And then it had no difference. And then they saved a bunch of money. And they're like, well, we're never going to do that
or
again.
The opposite happened where the people were like, you didn't do that thing this year. We like that you didn't do that. And then the company's like, really? And they're like, yeah. And then like the company to the employees were almost like, we should talk more. You know what I mean? Like it felt like COVID forced us to communicate with each other and figure out what we like and what we don't like.
So, Jessica, when you're a corporate event planner, what does that entail? Like, does that entail like calling up the convention center and negotiating the rates of that and getting the blocks of hotel? Like, does it everything? Do you have a team or is it just you?
It was pretty much, everyone does it in different ways, but it was pretty much just us. And yes, we called up, you call around to the different hotels and try to find the event space and you're ordering the food, setting up the bar, the AV we outsource. That is an insane job. Anyone who would want to get into that, that's just corporate AV. That's what I think what a lot of the guys from Full Sail there end up going and end up doing. A lot of corporate event AV. But yeah, it's setting up everything, working with the presenters and their content, hiring any entertainment.
Tom and I worked with a few of these AV guys that do the big conventions, especially when we were hosting events for Orlando City. And, the big one that we did down on Church Street with MLS being announced, and the mayor was there, and then Rick Scott, the governor, was there at the time. And what's weird about these guys, they're so curmudgeoned, man, because they got all the tools and all the tech. They have the latest and greatest stuff, but they're using it for the dumbest stuff. They're using it for like a carpet convention, and all they're doing is like, they're like a hologram of a man that made carpet, and then they're sad about it, and then they're getting yelled out by the clients because they, get this play. I need Who Let the Dogs Out to play as I come out on the stage, you idiots.
Also, it's also like so expensive. I think the average person doesn't realize, because I remember when we were doing the Orlando City thing.
Oh, it's so expensive.
And then we were talking to some
balloons,
people.
$15,000.
We were talking to like what it costs to set up the stage in a
wireless
convention center.
Microphones versus wired is thousands of dollars.
It was like $100,000 to set up a like for
Sam,
one.
He's not kidding. The stage,
the lighting,
absolutely.
the
Sam, that's just the
audio,
stage.
video.
That wasn't counting the round tables with the dressing over them and the purple. He's just saying stage only and lights
and all the crew and lights and audio, video and stuff for the whole night or whatever.
Disgusting.
But I was like $100,000. Like
it's a shocking
blew my
amount of
shoes
money.
off, because I was like,
oh yeah,
it doesn't seem like it should be that expensive. Like my house was near $100,000.
Right. Well, it also added to the amount of pressure it put on us, because here we are, just two guys that we know how to host things for the most part, but now you're going to tell us we're standing up there at a $110,000 stage and we're supposed to present this to billionaires?
So Jessica, how many events would you do a year? Would it be like one big one and a bunch of small? Like, how does it? Like, is it a full-time job?
It was an absolute full. It was crazy. That's why once I decided to get married and start a family, I'm like, well, I can't do this anymore. The hours were absolutely insane, and you're always traveling. It was probably about 2 or 3 pretty large size events with some smaller ones, but sometimes the smaller ones were just as stressful, if not more so, because more important people, like 400. I don't know, manager level people, okay, that's not so bad. But when you have a dozen or 15 top tier people, the pressure's really on because their expectations are higher.
Right.
And they have more demands.
And also, Jessica, do you find, because we here at TND Media have done a lot of different events.
When you say that, I always get so nervous when you say that.
And the people don't realize how stressful putting on events are.
Oh my God.
And they don't realize all the details that normal people don't even think about when it comes to putting on events, like parking and things that don't even like
permits,
permits, venue access,
the food and the lanyards and where people go to pick up their lanyards,
age
and
restrictions for bars.
Also, how dumb everybody is. Even the highest corporate.
You underestimate how stupid everyone is.
Especially like even the higher ups. They're not like they're good at their job, but
the first question is where's check-in.
But they also won't show up where to pick up their lanyard like you told them to, and then they'll just be calling you, be like, "Hey,
security's supposed to know who they are."
Security won't let me in the back, and then you're like, "Do you have your lanyard?" You're supposed to go, "No," and it's
you're supposed to overlook their mistake because really it was your mistake because you should have known he didn't want to pick up his lanyard.
And they're your boss, but you're the event planner, so you have to cater to it sounds like a GD nightmare, Jessica.
It can be, but you just kind of have to let it roll off your back. But I do have kind of a funny short story about that. So I worked for this large corporation for about 10 years, and then I went into consulting work for a couple of years after that, almost as like a side job. And I quoted, and with my partner, we were going to do a big corporate event for someone. Like, oh, this is ridiculous. You know what? My admin's going to do it. Don't worry about it. And it wasn't until like right before the event, like, okay, yeah, she can't do this. Whatever you guys are charging, we had to jump in and fix it. So, yeah.
So because
a lot of people think they can do it because it sounds like fun party planning, but you're right. The value's in the logistics.
And also who you build up relationships with certain companies, and they know, and you can trust that they're going to be. They know what
you want, how to do it your way.
And a lot of times it takes a while to vet these different companies that you know they're professional enough to do it the way you want to.
Well, they have turnover too, right?
Yeah.
So the guy that knows the way that you like it done may not be working that day. It's a lot of little details.
Jessica, have you ever had something completely fall apart, like bigot, like worst?
Bigot?
No, like biggest failure.
Like a bigot. Do you ever have a bigot get on stage with a live mic and just start shouting things?
No, I haven't had that happen. I have had people shouting, but it's usually at hotel staff or something, and do you know who I am kind of thing.
Do you know who I am? I'm the CEO of Billy's Furniture, and I demand respect.
Exactly that. Exactly. What do you mean my room's not ready? Oh gosh, I can't think. I can think of my old boss had a great story. I never had anything completely fall apart on me.
Did you ever have to plan anything that you knew was stupid and or maybe just doing it to like serve someone's ego?
The worst examples I can think of that, and there were several, is that when you were talking about, with your AV guy, and a guy says, I want who let the dogs out playing when I come up on stage. I had some horrible requests for walk-up music that were just completely inappropriate. I had one finance guy ask for the Ghetto Boys' Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster.
It's fun.
But white guys love in another group full of white guys to walk out to like really, really authentic hip hop music and then throw up what they think would be cool. White guys love that. And they go out there, they turn their hat sideways, they're throwing up peace signs. Oh, white guys love that.
But
it's so awkward. I'm literally like twitching, like it's uncomfortable watching things like that. I just want to.
Do-rag hanging out the back of his Brooks Brothers.
Physically uncomfortable.
Oh my God! Don't do it. Wow. Just go up there and just go up there and be like a normal businessman. Like, hi, I'm a businessman. Here are the numbers.
They want to get their personality out.
But it's not their personality because they don't even know who the Ghetto Boys are. They just know that song will make people think. Right, exactly.
Exactly. If you asked him to name another song, there's no way he would have been able to. Plus, the N-word is in that song like every 20 seconds, so we couldn't find like 45 seconds. We had to completely redo the song.
Editing it yourself.
Okay, Jessica, I got a question. So, at all these corporate events, the CEO or the owner of the company always has some sort of comedian or entertainer they want to pay to be out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's what they like and nobody else
Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Or they have some guy fast paint American Bald Eagle or whatever.
I support that one.
I've seen that in
I love fast painter to music.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because there's always some patriotism.
We had that guy once, so it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I saw him one time at an insurance convention.
I swear to God, they did one to, why are there so many rainbows? Whatever that song is. There was one, and he painted at the end of it. It was Kermit the Frog. I thought I was going to cry. It was like inspiring.
But so I'm wondering if someone ever brought in a comedian or something and didn't fit the room, because we've talked to comedians about like doing these corporate events, and it's just like
rough.
the owner likes the comedian, is a fan of his podcast, and everybody else is just sitting there awkward as the guy does his bit.
No, we haven't had that. It wasn't a famous comedian or anything like that. We tried to stay away from it for that reason. I had a couple people bring it up, and we were able to talk them out of it. It's especially hard, too, when you have international events and there's a cultural difference, so the humor is not really the same. But once somehow we ended up compromising and we got an improv group at Disney, and that was awful.
An improv group?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Did
terrible.
did they wheel out a rolly suitcase full of props, I hope?
They did, and they had different sets and things they wanted to use, and to make it worse, they incorporated the C-suite team into the routine, and these people, of course,
Whoa,
can't
hold on a
entertain.
second. You were holding out on
it
us, so
was
they
bad.
were weaving members of the actual staff into their bits?
Yes, they were.
This is Tom's
just
nightmare, by
think
the
of,
way.
like,
If you had to sit and watch this, you'd freak out, wouldn't you? It would not be good for you. But Sam and
I wanted to run away. I wanted to just run away.
Was anybody
And
laughing
So
at all?
awkward.
awkward laughing,
Okay.
polite laughing. Yeah, it was really bad.
Did you ever have a situation where like the CEO's up there giving a speech and his mic stopped working, and then they always do the move where they just get mad and just say screw it and start screaming?
Or they have somebody come out and hand them a mic, but this mic's worse than the first mic.
yeah.
I love that. I love that move where they hand him a worse mic.
And their internal manager and the D head comes out and they start yelling.
And they do the Howard Dean where their voice breaks because they're screaming so much. They're like, well, I'm just here to tell you that our company's the best.
So no, we touched on before the AV and how expensive it is, and the reason it is because if you're really good and it always works, you can charge whatever you wanted. So my old grizzled AV guy, we never really had any bad AV problems. But I will say this, that when a secretary, I guess, tried to run an event once, or an admin, and that did happen, that's when they said no more office staff planning events. So.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's what it
yeah.
takes. Where you're like, "Why is the stage $100,000?" I'm like, we'll just I'll call Paul Williams and get his.
We'll just do this at the Why Not
Get some
Lounge.
trucks.
I mean, that's what happened to everything. That when I first started,
That's called the OLE.
Yeah, it is called the OLA. When I first started in radio, all of the award ceremonies we had, because I guess the lesson that if I had to tell somebody the meaning of life, it's that everything gets a little S-ier no matter what. And when I first started in radio, I would go to these like award ceremonies, and everyone would dress to the nines, and it'd be open bar, and there'd be actual awards that were plaques, and they were like gold and brass and the whole nine. And then as time went on, that all went away to eventually you're just at the Why Not Lounge with a couple of drink tickets, and they're handing out pieces of paper.
Yeah.
That's just life.
And
that's just life.
It's also radio in the
that's
business.
true. That's true.
It's
The
exactly,
business has died, yes.
So Jessica, what'd you make a year? What are we talking here?
So when I started, this would have been in 2004, right out of college. I was so excited with the salary they offered me. It was, I think, $38,000 a year.
All right,
That's a lot of work for $38,000.
Yeah, well,
It was. So if you worked it out into an hourly basis, I probably would have cried. But
Although
the annual salary, I was excited.
$38,000 in 2004
2004
was
better.
different. Like I remember, because we were looking at it in 2022, we're like, God damn, that's nothing. But in 2004, that was
How much was gas then?
It's pretty good.
What were we looking at, 99 cents?
No
way.
That
2004.
No, I always just yell 99
99
cents.
cents was like 2099, or like 99 2000. It was 99
It's like
cents.
2000.
No, he means 1999.
Yeah. But in 2004,
I
it was
know.
like $1.70, something like that. I would say
99 cents.
$2. Anyway, all right, Jessica.
About to get the old man button out.
What? As I bet you, like, if the corporate planner for like Sony or something. I mean, who like? There's corporate planners that are making $500,000 a year or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they have a whole team of people. They're probably honestly outsourcing a lot of stuff to creative firms and everything, and they're just managing it all. But, oh, yeah, those people you either make a lot of money or you make very little money. Some of the perks too are travel. Like, you know, you get to go to places you probably wouldn't be able to get to go on by yourself on your own.
I have a friend named Leslie I went to high school with who does some sort of event planning with tech companies. She lives in New York City.
Yeah.
And just what Jessica's saying is exactly right. Once it gets to a certain level, she's making like bang. I mean, tons of money. But a lot of her partnerships have been taken over by other companies, and then their teams, like she'll just kind of hybrid or partner with their team. So, for instance, she might partner with Pepsi.
Yeah.
And then Pepsi's team, some of their team and some of her team work in conjunction and do like a hybrid kind of an event thing. So she doesn't really even plan anymore. It's like other people do it. She just has to make sure that the deals are executed correctly.
There's a sweet spot of corporate middle management. Like you just be the middleman.
Yeah. Just making sure things are executed correctly. Yeah.
And you just you're forwarding emails to
Samantha
the right
would crush
people.
it,
Like a director.
You would crush at that, like where you just oversee a huge thing, because even like I was talking about yesterday, when even on your vacation, it's like, and I'm the same way. It's like I can't detach from the email. I got to know that it got done correctly, you know, for some reason. And you're good at that. And I feel like, and Andrea's good at that. Like if you can just manage bigger groups of people doing things, you can make bank and do very little.
Yeah. And by manage, I just mean forwarding an email because that's all I want to.
But not everybody can do it. But not everybody can do it. Like I mean, like you're not going to always have. I feel like there almost has to be a clock inside of you that's driving you to. I better check in. I better look at
time
that.
anxiety.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what I'm describing.
Oh God, what day is it? What time is it?
I know I do that.
I just want to fall into a sweet middleman position where all
Like a coast, yeah.
Yeah. You're just forwarding some emails. You're like, this company's
and
got
then
it.
like a
You're
sweet
good.
80K.
Yeah.
75K, 80K, and
yeah.
you're just forwarding, you're just making a call, you check in, how's your team doing, how's that team doing?
If you broke it down, I want to only actually send 12 emails a day, and that's it. Like no other work. I don't like nothing. Like
12
emails, and
I delete 12 from Remy every morning.
15 emails would be a heavy. I'd come home and be like,
I'm
stressful.
exhausted, kick the dog.
All right, Jessica, what do you do now?
I work in marketing.
Whoa, hold on, drug dealer. She fumbled. She was like,
So you do marketing?
Yes.
Can you help
I work
market
in
our
the home
show?
building industry.
Can you help market our show? We need people to
Do you guys really need? Do you need more marketing?
We
Yes.
do. Are you? Is that I think I heard a judgy tone in your voice.
I think people think we're better off than we
Yeah,
are.
I don't think people understand how bad this
struggling.
is. Yeah,
What?
we are.
No,
We need to.
We're on the struggle bus.
We need everyone marketing us at all times.
Tell a friend to sign up
We
to be
are
a BDM.
rocketing to the moon. Don't worry about
And
it.
if the
Crash and burn.
Yeah, is the moon in the center of the earth?
So, all right, Jessica, thanks for being on today's
Thanks
Weird
for
Job.
nothing.
And we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right,
see ya.
have a good one. Take care. See ya.
Those kind of like corporate event anything that you get into a giant corporation, it just like there
Did that job
it's so much
shape
nothing
her?
matters, but so much of like I like it because nothing matters, and you can get away with just doing the very least.
Yeah.
Did that job, follow me with this. Oh my God, I'm turning into you. The job, the fact that she got that job in 0304, fresh out of college, is paramount to why she works in a smaller marketing capacity and does something similar, but isn't in that big. So that was a benefit to her working for the big company early. It seems like it kind of fleshed her out to like a better job, right? Because I think also so many people are always, at least in radio, so many podcasters, even now, I have so many podcast buddies that want to be on radio. Like the goal is to be on radio. I want to be on radio. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I almost feel like.
Well, they don't understand what the market is right now. If you're,
I don't even understand what the market's like right now.
Well, yeah, we do. It's,
I don't understand nothing.
I always ask people like, well, how would that help you? Yeah, I understand that it's broadcast, but is that if your show is good, you could far surpass the reach of local radio.
Also, all it does is
you're
limit you
talented
because
enough.
you're forced. I mean, especially if you want to do it live, you're forcing yourself to provide what you do at a finite time, and in a weird way that
it would have to be in conjunction with the on-demand release podcast.
Sure.
But then it's like, well, then just do that. It's, it seems like less hoops to jump through. It's like, getting a job because there's only a finite time in radio is difficult. So it's just like the more, if you're talented, you will reach more people.
Here's something I know you hate. Just doing something because that's the way it's always been. And I think a lot of people that started a podcast with the goal of it becoming radio are only doing that because that's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
And they're stuck in that. You want to do a couple voicemails to close this out so we don't waste
All
time?
right. Let's do it.
Because these are piling up. Sex rooms. One of the hottest topics we've had.
I've
I
never
gotta start
seen
that
one.
series.
Me too. Damn it. That's
you-
what it was
I
last
did go to
night.
Fairville this weekend.
Whoa.
Oh, really? What'd you get?
Yeah, because
Wait,
they had
whoa,
all
whoa, whoa,
the
whoa.
sales stuff that Deborah was showing
You don't
us.
just say what'd you get. That's
Oh, okay.
inappropriate.
It's a
I'm gonna have to
personal
write, I'm gonna have to
question.
write you
Oh,
up
okay,
now.
okay.
Can you get out the paperwork?
I'll write it down for Mo.
Yeah,
Well,
get out the paperwork. I'll sign it off.
I was
during-
just curious
during lunch.
so I could fantasize about
Yeah.
it.
I just want to know.
What's wrong with
I
me?
would-
That's how he feels
I
about
mean,
it.
I'm
yeah.
just telling you the truth.
That's his
too.
I'm
horny
just saying
core.
the truth.
I mean, like, I'm gonna drop the paperwork for his sexual harassment trouble ticket, but I also would like to know what you're sitting on. Let's try this one. Sex room.
Hey, Tom, Dan, Sam, and Fairvilla. You guys were talking about sex rooms. My wife and I recently moved to a new community, and in meeting some of the neighbors, my wife came across this woman who was very friendly, she said, and
Can we all just agree that, aside from the fact that he's talking about sex rooms, that this guy is the best voice for any phone
yeah.
caller
Pretty
of any
good.
show in the world? He sounds like some sort of nosy neighbor.
It's no Lakeland Gym. but-
And he called in for you, Sam. I got a surprise for you later.
showed her property and such, and at the
Oh, I
end
was
of
like,
the
showed her her
tour, brought her to a party kind of room she said she does weddings and stuff at, and then further revealed a sex room with the cross to tie someone up, I guess,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that. And this woman told my wife, this is my friend's space so she can get away from her kids. I don't know what type of friend you have to just have a sex dungeon for them at their leisure. But my wife is a little more naive than I and came home and told me, and I'm like, you realize she's testing you. So Tuesday nights are fun over there.
All
Thank you,
right.
Yeah, oh, are they in?
Sounds like they might be in.
Well, you
or
gotta
at
give
least
it-
he's in.
Yeah, you got to give us an update.
Sounds like she's a dominatrix or something over there.
I have never been propositioned to swing. I know you have. Haven't you?
Sam
Sam has.
Definitely.
I'm too ugly, I think.
No, I have back in the.
I was propositioned at a BDM event.
Or here's
you
another
haven't
thing.
been.
Here's another
Yeah.
thing I think is that sometimes I just don't. Maybe I have, but here's my biggest fear: is I don't want to be the guy that thinks I'm being propositioned when I'm not.
Oh, that's
'Cause-
yeah.
Well, but I know tons of people that do that.
yeah.
Like there are tons of friends of mine that I know that'll be like, oh yeah, that lady's hitting on me, and I'm like, no,
It's a
she's
lot of
not.
guys that think women are flirting with them.
Yeah.
But
Because
just
we don't
across
know-
the board, I don't want to be that guy. So I'm just
Right.
going to assume that nobody wants to do this, and not because of me, but because of Andrea. Andrea would be your stop stick there, not me. I'm
yeah.
all for any. If a man takes his pants off. In fact, the guy that cleaned our carpets this weekend, he was cleaning the carpets, and he turned it off, and he goes, I hope you don't mind, but I got to get serious for a second. I said, I don't mind, carpet man. And he says, you're right about something. I go on. He says, if there's a D in the room, if somebody drops their pants, man or woman, I'm looking at it. I said, me too, carpet dude. And we high-fived, and then he went back to cleaning the carpet. It's just that's the way that I'm built. I'm
Well,
not
I
going to
think
judge
everybody
you. I'm
is,
not going to make you feel weird. Tracy's in her lobby.
I'll
If
look
Tracy
at it
took
then.
all her clothes off right now, started running in a circle, I'm not going to make it weird. I'm just going to let her do her thing because
Yeah.
I am non-judgy when it comes to that sort of stuff. I'm the best person to have at an orgy. I'm the best person to have at a sex party because I'm not going to judge you. I know I make a lot of judgments on the air, and I know I say some crazy stuff, and I know that I'm a little crazy. But at an orgy, nothing but respectful.
Also, I feel like you can tell within the first 10 minutes if a couple is even, you have a 10% or 20% chance of swinging with them. You know what I'm saying?
Can you?
I could tell. I can tell.
I don't know.
It's
I
all,
don't know
It's the scales
either.
of justice in my head. I feel
all
like
right,
I,
okay, all right. I
and
like this. I like where this is going.
I have a swinging meter.
Whoa.
I don't even-
Swinging meter.
Now, hold on.
I don't even
Look at
swing.
my
It used to be
swinging meter.
a range on a spectrum. Now it's a swinging
Swinging
meter. I don't
meter sounds a
know.
lot like a penis to me.
And I can tell.
Swinging meter or swinging Peter?
Swinging Peter meter.
At the beach party, we do our pictures, right? And then
Oh, yeah.
What did you?
so
You've had to have been propositioned there.
no, I will whisper in your ear after every picture.
He does it
Oh my God.
every. He does it every underage camel girl. He's like,
no.
you need a ride home.
I'll get you a white claw.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
coming to get you.
I'll give you my Tom Van swinging meter percentage.
Oh wait, so you'll just whisper in my ear a
10%.
percentage, and then so if
and
you and I were taking
you'll
a
tell
photo,
me correct or incorrect.
and I have my arm around you, and you'll just lean and you'll be like, to me,
Yeah,
you'll be like,
it'll be 0
you'll lean
to
and you'll-
100.
You'll be like 92, and then the person's like, oh wow,
and then you confirm whether I'm close or not.
So you give them a number, just like Wawa does when you're.
All right, you
when
guys,
you're-
look out
yeah.
for the Tom Van whisper percentage.
Yeah, the
On the
creepy-
swinging meter.
No, it's the swinging Peter meter.
Yeah.
Tom Van's
I can tell by-
swinging Peter meter,
Okay.
he'll give you a percentage.
I can. This is. I'm just gonna be honest.
So if
That's all I
anyone
can be.
doesn't hear this segment and they have a whispering Tom Van in their ear, they're going to be very confused.
There's a certain there's a certain
Have you ever
way
whispered
of
into my?
dress.
Have you ever whispered in my wife's?
I've never heard you
ear?
whisper.
I don't think you can whisper. It's like skipping.
Like-
can you whisper?
Like Daniel and Andrea is a 0.
Because
they're
wow.
0%.
But what if I'm divorced? What if I'm divorced? Then you
Well,
gotta,
that's
then
not
you gotta
swinging.
lean and go.
Well,
You got to have a partner.
I didn't see your new girlfriend and see because
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
I'm not
just-
gonna have a new
because-
girlfriend. I'm
because
gonna come in.
single
I'm gonna come
men-
in single.
Oh, you just
Single
want a
men's
threesome then. That's
so,
not swinging.
Single men's 100%. I mean, or at least 99%. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
Where-
Andrew would be into it if we were divorced.
I'm talking about couples. Like I could tell by within 10 minutes or so whether they're.
Well, you're
What
a
about me
zero
and my
too.
husband?
You're a 0 too, because your wife's not gonna do anything.
You and your husband is 26%.
26.
26%.
26%.
It's
Wow,
it's on
26.
lower on the
Who's
spectrum,
higher?
not impossible.
Who's higher? Grade them individually.
What? No, it can't be. It's got to be per couple.
Yeah.
Well,
Name
wait
a
a
couple.
minute. Well, wait a minute. So we go to a 0 just based on Andrea, and I'm 100%. She's at 0, and
Yeah.
a 0 outweighs the 100. It's just like multiplication. 0
Well,
times
they
100
you
is 0.
both have to at least be a little bit down for you to even hit the meter.
Yeah. And
well, then you're a 0 too.
not quite a 0.
Yeah, 0.
No, that's not
She's
quite.
got a soapy
no,
butt.
It's a
Not,
0.
yeah, that's
No.
soapy, but there's little tells to me.
No,
that,
that's a 0.
no. I mean,
I've said this argument
The
before,
soapy
so
butt
you're
is
stealing
something.
my argument now and using it.
yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm saying. Here's the thing, though. If there is only a 5% chance, it must 0 to me. You know what I'm saying? That's a 0.
No, I'm not like that.
I'm
1%'s better than
No,
0.
no, no.
1%
1% is
means
0.
something can happen.
1% better.
1% is 0. This is gambling terms. Like you got to hit over 60 to even be good.
Oh, okay. So I'm not even good.
No, because it's a reach.
Wait,
a far
26%
reach.
isn't good enough?
Apparently
Good-
not.
Oh, so you're not good now?
No.
I'm a 0. You're
We're no good.
26%?
You would be a
Unbelievable.
solid 47, but the paranoia bridges the gap.
Oh.
Because you are very stand out.
Untrusting,
Yeah,
yeah.
untrusting. You can't because there's a lot of
Yeah, 'cause
you
you
would
got to
have
go
be-
to some shady places to do some
You're not
wild
going to do
things.
it with too good of friends because that's awkward.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
too
You've
many
done the
str-
swinging math.
I'm
I've done the math.
and too many strangers untrustworthy. It's got to be just.
Well, too many strangers, dirties.
It's got to
You
be
get dirty D's.
It's got to be
Dirty V's.
It's got to be acquaintance from out of town. Like for it to even
That's
be
right.
close, and there's 26%. I'm just telling
Gonna
you.
be doing a lot of traveling
I'll
next
whisper
year.
in your ear every single couple that comes up for pictures
Oh, I
at the
can't
BDM
wait.
beach party. I'll give
Oh,
you
you're
a
going to be a
percentage,
horse.
and you can tell.
I'm going to ask everybody
whisper,
their,
that's why I say
their
whisper.
meter
You
number.
you
There
should
you go.
just do it on a megaphone so everybody can compare.
I could tell by the amount of rings her husband or boyfriend has.
Yeah,
So, you know,
I can
like-
tell by the dragonfly shirt you're wearing.
I could tell by how scantily clad your
wife
wife or
is.
girlfriend is
Also-
dressed. I'm just telling that
also,
makes a difference.
you
It
know what-
does.
you know what
the
I-
more cleavage, the higher the percentage.
You know when I know it's a home run is when she's scantily clad, the couple. When the woman is scantily, if the guy has on rings, you're like, yes, I'm listening. But if the girl is scantily clad and she's more sloppy than not, it's a game on. You know what I mean?
Skinnier dudes are more likely, like
Yeah.
a Zach from Ohio.
But there are a lot of. I have noticed that the stereotype.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bigger ladies that enjoy it, but also you'll find some string beans that got bulldog asses, and they're into it too.
Yeah.
Don't discount a woman
body type
with a bulldog ass.
Body type doesn't really have anything to do with
Well,
it.
sometimes
It's
when
more,
the ass is flowing around.
Style.
It's more
Yeah.
about confidence. It's more about
Like you walk to get a beer and your ass is still there, and then when it catches up to you.
Also, like people are naturally flirty. I feel like the spectrum.
I'm the
leaves
flirtiest of the gang here.
Yeah. Like if you,
I'm the flirtiest.
if you like that, if you somehow
Chirping and flirting and chirping. It's in the vein.
that old girlfriend you had back in the day. Like if you had married her,
Which one?
The
one that killed herself?
No, come on.
What? She can't hear it.
Dead. If you had married her, then
your
your percentage is like
you bring that to the beach. I'd be beating them off with a stick, and then Tom
it's
Lee
like
said he'd be 100%. Can I do it? Let me ride that train. Toot toot.
Yeah. And the only thing that's stopping you in that situation is your own paranoia.
Yeah.
And
Well, then it works in reverse because then you start to get jealousy because you're
Yeah,
like,
you're
well,
jealous.
She
flirt with
liked
every-
him better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you're a jealous person too, which like it.
Not as much anymore, but I just had to settle to get rid of my jealousy.
Yeah, the older you get too, it's better actually as well. Like it starts beating down your morals and anything else that your apprehension
I'm
towards.
glad we talked this out. I feel a lot better going into the beach party now.
I'll tell
knowing
you.
all of it.
Yeah.
Why is Tracy dressed like an angel?
It?
You'll find out.
She's 27.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back.
Oh, man. Are you
What
okay?
That happened to me
You had one
yesterday,
sip of
remember?
Diet Coke.
I know. Yesterday wasn't bothering me. Today, what the hell?
It's just, it's
God.
fine.
You get a little choked up because your favorite guest is
It's
here.
fine. I've thought about this, and I've thought that I think the listeners like this. They don't like the beautiful prepackaged radio guy voices. No offense to
all
Mike
right.
Harvey,
Okay.
but you hear Mike Harvey, who by the way still does ads for the Braves on AM radio. He'll be like, 2020 Eyeglass Superstore. Hey, it's me, Mike Harvey, and I'm like, what? Are you 200 years old? Where are you, Mike? But anyway, they don't like that anymore.
Oh, they like the phlegmy, disgust.
You were vulnerable, and you
yeah.
showed some sensitivity there, and people like relate to it.
White Claw Tracy's here. How you doing,
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm
Tracy? So, Tracy, I saw on your social media that you went to the Star Wars experience with your family, and we talked about this with Joey Mazan.
Hold on, you got to say it right. Not the Star Wars. You can't
know.
just put experience on the end of everything and make it the big. It's not the Star Wars experience.
What is it called?
I went on the Starcruiser experience. It was a galactic.
Oh, you can't put experience. Did you not just hear what I said?
It's an experience.
Were
It's
you
the
here a minute ago?
Starcruiser. It's the Starcruiser.
It's the Star Wars Starcruiser.
Okay.
It's the Starcruiser.
All right. So
Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser.
There, thank you, Sam.
Okay.
Galactic Starcruiser.
So let's walk me through this. What is the package, and what?
Get this, dude. It's a cruise ship, but it doesn't move.
leave.
Land
It's
cruise.
Yes.
It's land cruise style.
It's a land cruise style.
Okay.
So it is basically just under 48 hours. You check in and you check out. You don't get to stay extra, and it's within a certain time frame. Just
So
like
it's
a
one night?
cruise.
It's a one night?
It's 2 nights.
It's 2 nights.
So we
okay.
checked in on Friday. Check-in starts at 1. People start lining up at like 11, but we got there around 12:45.
Okay.
Since we valeted, they take your bags directly to your room. They're already in your room before you get there, just like a cruise ship. We waited in line, check in, you go through general Disney security, they peek in your bag real quick.
Do they do anything to make you feel like to not break that level of like the third wall? Or they like
I was going to ask, is like security like stormtroopers? Because
No,
that'd be cool.
That would be cool, but no, security is regular, like the blue shirt, hat, they don't mess around, but everyone else is like valet from the moment you
Oh,
like
really?
you're at
Valet's
the valet.
even in
they're
character?
already in character, yeah.
That's got to be annoying as hell if you work there.
No, dude, this is their dream.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen a 2022 bleep blork before. I'll take this around.
This is their dream job. I mean, you should have seen like the bartenders.
Tom's laughing
comes,
about it.
The bartender comes like running in the bar and was like, oh, the stormtroopers are going crazy. And she's like having her own moment. And I'm like, you work here. Like, you see this all the time. Like, it's the same storyline. Like, why are you
It's
so...
magic.
But it's magic, yes. So,
okay, now, what are the rooms
So this is
like?
the contrast to what Joey... We had Joey Mazant in here, and he said that Galactic Starcruiser... hunk of garbage.
Was a flop.
Now we have a
he
never
Joey
experienced
don't know.
it. He was just
Joey,
passing around rumors that he collected.
The reviews were not great. I will say
they
that.
were not. But if you... First of all, life is what you make it, right? Like, so if you go into
Tom's laughing at that.
No, that's why I'm here. I knew you'd hate all of this. So we didn't go into it with this huge expectation, but we knew it's Disney. That's going to have amazing food. The characters are going to be amazing no matter what. The performances, if there are any, are going to be awesome.
Do they do a musical show?
They do.
I'm down for a musical
so
show.
into
There,
it.
I have video of it, so I'll show you a little clip of her singing. She's amazing. Gaia is her name.
I'm
She
down
sang
for a musical show. I'm into that.
They have a DJ, alien. Oh God, her name is Kwani. I think it is Kwani. She's a green alien, and she is on the wheels of
DJ
steel.
Kwani.
Yes,
The only 8-armed DJ in the galaxy.
Hold on one second. Let's because
Go back.
Because I want to quantify whether or not
Quantify.
whether this is worth it to bring my sons to one day. They've watched a lot of the Star Wars stuff. And
They will love it.
you're gonna have to dress up, and I'm gonna.
You're gonna hate it.
Love
Okay, well,
I'm gonna love it.
So it's 2 nights at the hotel, and then they give you an itinerary for each day. So once you get up to your hotel room, what's the room like?
Okay, so the room is well, here's what's even cooler. I gotta tell you this. Like once we checked in and went through that security, I never saw outside until I got into Batuu and I was in Hollywood Studios. The whole transport, you have no idea what you're riding in. You don't know how you got there. But you're inside this really cool, kind of like the monorail kind of size car, but it's all Star Wars out. There's LCD screens at the top that show you blasting off through this. It's really, really cool.
So they're doing everything they can to set the mood and get you immersed in this land.
They don't want you to leave.
Yeah.
So you get an itinerary, but you check into the room. Okay, so we went to the room. We checked out the room.
But something has to happen, right?
Well, so they do a muster drill, actually, because you don't know how to get out of the place.
Right,
if something does, if there is a
fire.
fire.
I kind of feel like that's when everybody drop you. That's when I would like for everyone to drop their lightsabers and be like, "Hey, this is all BS. Let's go to the exit." That's what I would prefer.
Guess what?
It's stupid that if they're going to stay in character during the muster drill, I think it's kind of stupid.
There's an emergency pod in each room that if your exit, you can't leave through the hallway. There was this door next to what was the window, which was out the universe, right?
What's a freak out pod?
And it had emergency exit. And I looked at my husband. I'm like, do you think there's an alarm hooked to that?
That's where you go to smoke weed.
Listen.
No, it's the exit to the outside if you have an emergency.
You open it up so you go out there and smoke your Pall Mall.
There's a little closet.
I'm 40 years old. I've never had an emergency. So I'm going to go ahead and just predict.
I recall you sitting in a parking lot with a, quote, problem.
No, anxiety
He was pulled
attack.
over to the side of the road.
Heart attack.
I'm saying that I've never had an emergency. I'm never going to have an emergency. I don't need to know where any exits are. I'm never going to be in a fire. I'm never going to be in some sort of...
You're really
it's never
trying
gonna
destiny and fate, man.
It's never going to happen.
Okay.
And if it does...
I hope it doesn't for your sake, but...
it's never going to... So, I'm curious. It's the place that they... Okay, because I get there trying to transport you in your mind to a different location, but obviously it's going from one place into a hotel into the
whole thing does not look like a hotel. It looks like you just walked onto a Star Wars spaceship. Everything.
So
the whole room, my kid's room, was a cubby hole. There were 2 ports. Everything's white, black, and orange.
He's losing his mind at this point, right?
Oh, he lost his ever.
Because that's what it's for. You know, that's That's the money right
So-
there.
Yes,
I'm
he
just-
said best vacation ever.
I'm curious.
Love it.
And
So
we do good ones.
you don't see the outside.
Nope.
You can't see through windows. And, like you can't see the palm trees on
I
the.
was so on like Saturday afternoon. I was in the atrium having drinks, and I looked down at my watch, and I'm like, it's only 3:30. Like it felt like 7:30 at night, but I have no concept because the only thing you see is the bridge, and that just looks into the vast outer space. That's the only outside you see. When you go into your room, like, so they escorted me to our room, and she asked us, where are you from? If you mention anything Earth related, they look at you like you have 14 horns on your head. Well, that's kind of normal. In
Oh, you
that
can't be
universe.
from Earth?
No, I mean you can, but they don't like can't play along with you. So they're like, oh, I've never heard of that. Where is that? What is
And then
that
you
like?
play along. Well,
You
it's
can.
it's awesome, but
You
know.
can.
I hate
So
this so
we
much.
said.
Well, you're gonna end up doing it, dude. So,
and can I go with you guys?
Let's do a
'Cause I'll
go-to
again.
show.
Hey,
I'm in.
I'm
The
not
whole
gonna-
show.
I will
I'm
not
in.
in. I'll
Go
go
to.
with you guys, and I would love it because there's nobody that's gonna immerse himself more than me. I don't like Star Wars.
It was so
I'm
great
so
though, but it
in.
doesn't. I'm like the novice. You know, I've
Yeah.
seen the movies.
I don't know
but
anything about it. I'm not
you
into
don't
it.
need to. I mean, they have a storyline. So like.
Can you improv at
So
all? Or they
what-
don't like that. I
No,
bet.
the whole thing is improv.
Oh.
The whole thing,
Oh.
Daniel.
I
You
would love this.
this.
Okay,
This
I'm
is
in.
you.
I'm in.
So you get invited to secret missions. I had missions that my family did not have on our pad. So here's the premise. They ask you
cheating
where
on your
you're from.
family.
They have kiosks throughout the ship where you take your M band, which I have one over here. They gave you this nice white M band. And you
put it all in a shadow box already.
Yes, already. She just got back.
I had
Who's
a few
got time for a
calls
shadow
last
box?
night. I
Hold
had
your
a few
shadow
white
box
calls
up.
last
Hold that up
night.
so everybody can
How
see it.
cute.
That is
There's my shadow
lovely.
box. So in here is actually a secret mission paper.
We still got to do our gift bags for the beach party.
This piece of
my
paper
God.
that's ripped here, this was slid to us at dinner on the second night, and it's part 2 of 3. So there were 2 other families that had
It says Jerome and it has a number
and
on
it says we had a meet in the atrium at 9:40, and this says turning in Chewbacca to Lieutenant Croy is a ploy to keep our cover and part of the plan. Work with the mechanic to get Chewbacca back. So we had to go as a family to the atrium at 9:40, find the other families that had those papers to give Chewbacca. It's a whole thing.
You have missions.
Can I bring up one thing that
Yes.
I would like for them to improve on though? here?
Yes.
Because I do like the secret mission. I like the sliding of the ripped paper across, but it's a printed piece of
It
paper.
is printed, yeah.
It should be written.
Yeah.
If it's written, it's more immersive. You gotta pay somebody. Disney, you got the
Right,
money.
they do.
You gotta pay somebody to stand there with really good legible handwriting and write all that stuff out and actually rip it so it looks cool.
future.
But that's great. That's
This
fantastic.
is
I can see
turn
where
and burn.
your son's head must have been just on a swivel, just freaking out.
Exploding. So it's really overwhelming when you first get there because it's very much like walking into an escape room and not really knowing
Oh,
what
escape room? Tom loves escape rooms.
I know, that's why. Dressing up, escape rooms, improv with characters.
Everything
it's
Tom hates.
So
So
Teamwork.
and toys.
hold on. What is that?
What is that?
Okay, so let's go back a minute
Yeah.
because they were jumping all around
We are.
crazy. So once you get into your room,
He's like, slow down.
Slow down,
They
guys.
put-
Now tell
okay,
me
'cause
what the
they-
hell's
they-
going on.
no, I just want to know how much
They
is it
put
like
my-
a cruise? I want to.
It is. They put
nuts
my
and bolts.
planet on the TV screen. Like, so on a cruise ship, they show you where your ship is going,
Yeah.
like around. Well, so they had that on your TV screen, but it looked very galactic, like space-like, but it did change to regular TV. But they put our planet on there so that we could see how far away from home we were. So that they're doing that as we were walking to our room. She had an iPad, and when she was asking us, where are you from? She's entering all this information.
Oh, that's cool.
Super
So
cool.
where was your home planet?
Coruscant.
Coruscant. Gotcha. Lovely. A lot of
Yes.
baseball players from Coruscant.
So once is there just like a lobby bar you could
Yes.
go down there and
The
just,
Sublight Lounge.
Yeah,
And that's
hammer
where
drink
you'll be.
it.
There's
Well, yeah.
absolutely. I was there.
But you
till
can't say Bud Light. You got to go Gleep Glop.
They
Give me 3 Gleep Glops.
They do have beers, but they give them like funny names. But underneath them, they tell you what they are. One of them I remember was a Sierra Pale Ale.
You
You're
got
Nevada.
White Claw. They got
No,
hard
they did
seltzers?
not. I mean,
Oh.
I had a.
Future's
I
terrible.
know.
There's no White Claw.
I
in the
know. You're not the only one who
They
asked me
killed all
that.
the Earthlings.
I managed with Prosecco, and they had really cool like Disney drinks that had.
Yeah,
like,
but those are $18.
17.
Yeah.
Okay, so the drinks aren't included. This is not a
Drinks are not included.
all inclusive.
Food and everything is included. The only
Everything
thing
but alcohol.
You gotta get
so it's just like a
Chewbacca.
Disney cruise.
Exactly.
Chewbacca drink package.
and the gift shop.
So how many different things per day do they plan for you, as opposed to how many things can you go do by yourself?
1 million. So here's how it works. depends on who you talk to. Because if you walk up to the captain, like I happened to walk up to the captain when she was with a group of guys at one of the kiosk
stations. Is that an
stations.
alien or is it a human?
She is the cat. She's blue. So she looks like a human, but she's blue.
Okay.
So she's not human, I guess.
Is it makeup that she puts on every day?
Every day.
Okay.
And it's the same characters for your cruise. So we didn't have a different captain on Sunday morning or Saturday. It's the same people, and that baffles my mind.
To keep the continuity,
right. So like I happened to be walking up to the kiosk because I had to like go there and swipe my thing to do something, to unlock something, and they were all in front of me, and she was whispering to them. And then she tapped their M bands and then looked at me and goes, "Come here, you too," and tapped mine. So I actually had another mission on my app that my husband and my kid did not end up having to get.
Oh, I bet your son was mad.
Kind of.
Yeah.
They tagged along with me. I was like, oh, they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I have to go to the atrium. I'm sorry, it's not. And they're like, well, we don't have that. My husband, actually, I think was more mad. But the more you do and the more you unlock and the more you talk to people and the more you tap, the more stuff actually populates on your thing. Like you'll get messages all the time, and so you're on your phone the whole time.
If you choose to do that, it's kind of like
there's nothing else to do though.
Yeah, it learns like if you do more, it gives you more to do.
Correct, and you have to answer the questions. So like it's very much like what I said was it's cosplay, an escape room, and a choose your own adventure book all wrapped into one.
Okay.
Because on your data pad, when they would email you, I'd get messages from the captain, and it would ask me questions. Do you want to help me? Will you help me? And so if I was with the First Order, I could have chose the third answer, which was like, no, I'm not loyal to you. So there's the whole It's a.
Can you be locked up in jail?
No, but the stormtroopers really mess with you, and we got more messed with, I think, in Batuu when we were in Hollywood Studios because they actually give you a pin to show that you're from the ship. Yeah. So
oh my God! So they include stormtroopers racism within the.
We got stopped by the stormtroopers 3 times in Batuu, and my husband just started screaming. Ignite the spark at them and then like running away. Like it was insane.
He's yelling, ignite the spark and running away.
Yeah, ignite the spark, light the fire. Like if you hear ignite the spark, you're supposed to respond with light the fire. It's like the resistance.
Oh, Tom will do all of it.
It's so great.
Are you gonna be ready? Are you ready to light the spark and ignite the fire, Tom?
The secret passcode that you go to the shop and you tell them on like day 2 and there's secret things that can happen, and not many people know about that.
Okay, it's like, you got any power paragliding around here? Where's a dolphin encounter?
All right, so let's break this down even further because I want to know. For instance, like I was bitching about Discovery Cove, where it's like they try to make it
just like Discovery Cove.
Well, because
food's way better.
I was bitching about like they want to set it up like a resort experience, is limited amount of people, and then it's like. Seems you push that to the limit of limited amount because it still seems like I'm around a bunch of now just rich SE kids that are running around kicking the fish.
There were a lot of kids, but they're on their phones and they're like in their clusters and they're trying to do missions. Like so when we had, which you would love, lightsaber training. We actually got to learn
training how to.
Saja taught us how to hold our lightsabers.
Ravanage taught you.
How many people are in?
So in our lightsaber training, 3, 4. Maybe 10.
So you guys are you guys all lined up and you're like thrusting and swiping like those videos I seen those alt-right guys preparing for the end of the day?
They have lasers, laser stations, and you stand in the front and lasers come out and you use their lightsabers, not the ones you build at Hollywood Studios because they don't want you breaking these.
Sure.
So now this is like obviously I would only do this for my sons.
Yes.
It sounds like so far that my sons would get a kick out of this because it also sounds like they didn't cheap out or try to be overly greedy. How much did that thing cost?
Oh, that's at least $200 right there.
You buy that at the higher? What is it? $350?
It's $400. You're in for $2,000 worth of lightsabers, buddy, because you're gonna have to buy 2.
Yeah, we bought 3. The 3 of us did it together. My kid already has 1, so now we have the 4 colors that they offer.
Okay.
You
Oh
there.
my God! That's a $22,000 lightsaber.
For the 3 of us, it's about $250.
$250
for one.
for one. So
For one.
3 lightsabers.
$250 for a fake sword.
$750.
$780.
$780,
Tax. Yeah.
And then you got to buy the case.
No. They give you the
Oh,
case.
comes with-
They give you the
Oh,
case.
wow. A free Chinese case?
So
Are you crazy?
I'm $780 into lightsabers. Now,
Yeah.
okay, let's just break down the money.
Are you
here.
gonna get, you're not even going to get one for Crystal? She's here.
What?
She's here. You need to get her one. That's not fair. Mommy counts.
What? No, if I could, I'm buying 2 lightsabers for my boys.
What if she wants to fight?
What if they're like, Daddy, we want to play with you? And then
Do
you don't have a lightsaber.
Do you want to hear about my most favorite thing that we got to do on the ship?
Yes.
Okay, so we were on our first night. There's 2 things they schedule you for. It's bridge ops training and lightsaber training. So
Okay.
on our first day, we had bridge ops training. So they take you into the bridge, and there's 4 different sections of the bridge. There's, the blasters, the main control, and so they rotate you around so you get to do everything,
you get to
right?
try all the things.
Try it all. Well, because I'm a chirper, I had already been chatting it up with the captain in the atrium, prior. She, at the end, came up to me, the guys next to us that were at that kiosk earlier that I had mentioned, and then another family who was dressed up, and just said, "Wait here, I need you." Now, mind you, during our bridge ops training, it was during part of the storyline where a ship is boarding, and it's boarding Chewie. So Chewie, we had to help Chewie get on board. So she then asked us to wait, and next thing you know, everyone leaves. And she keeps us.
The Chewbacca, it is a
It was
replica suit Chewbacca.
He was amazing.
I saw on your social media,
He was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, he was,
it's not Bobo Chewbacca.
No. And so she just said to us, this is kind of a spoiler, so sorry if you don't want to hear, turn it off. But it was, you have to help us hide Chewbacca. So only the 3 groups got to do this, right? So we're now running through the atrium. We're on the 6th floor. We need to take him to the 4th floor. Other people started
Is he
joining
acting?
along.
He's
Oh my god! Totally.
Okay.
And the DJ.
I would love to see you and your boys running around trying to hide Chewbacca and just a camera on your face.
It was amazing.
love
So
that.
then other people
Can I be
join
like,
in.
give me your blaster, Chewbacca? You're an idiot, and I'll push it.
You'll
I'll
be
take over.
tackled
I
by
wouldn't
the
recommend
Why
it.
would you say you're an idiot?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He's also life-size, super tall.
Yeah, but I
don't think you're taking down
I want to be the
Chewbacca.
hero to my sons. Like, I don't want Chewbacca.
They don't
to-
care
They
about
think
you
you're an
now.
a-hole if you did that.
Yeah. They're like, hold our plastic.
Everybody loves Chewie.
They're
Yeah,
like, hold
no,
our
don't
plastic
do that.
swords while we help Chewie because
Don't do
we
that to
care
Chewie.
about
Well, I'm
him.
just like, how much into the story can you start changing the
No, you-
storylines to make it about yourself?
What if you're like, that's not
Just make it
Chewbacca?
about
Yeah.
yourself.
What if you're like, that's not Chewbacca? That's
It's
a man in a
Drunky.
suit. Get him.
It's Drunky the Bear's here.
So they have these like little custom missions they put you on that like kind of experiences
yes.
throughout the whole thing.
Can you be a
Throughout the
bad
whole
guy?
thing.
Can you be a bad guy?
You can.
Oh.
You can be a bad guy. And so
Way better.
Lieutenant Croy, he pays attention to, who is on his team because there's usually not many. Everybody else is usually with the
Yeah,
resistance.
you go on the
and-
dark side, and then
Yeah.
you end up probably getting to do more because it's everybody's too p-word to do it.
He was like calling some of them out by name at the end and at the
Yeah.
finale, and was like, "Thanks to blah blah blah," and everybody they were like, "Yeah," they were all excited.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Tracy, I kind of get the gist of what this whole thing's about, right? So,
Yeah.
and now
It's
what I
called
need to.
fun.
It's
That's fine.
With a
That's fine.
capital
I'll
F.
do it for my
this is
sons.
like millionaire LARPing.
Well,
is
Yeah.
what it sounds
well,
like to me.
I'll do it for my sons because it sounds like if they like Star Wars, they're not maybe as into it as like I may wait until they're really into it because
and they have to read fluently.
I'd want they could do that.
But on
better
that
than
data
old man.
pad, it's a lot. Yeah, well, you maybe you can.
I like
you
that
need to
Tracy
read
just assumed
fluently.
no one in the family can read. Tracy's
And
like,
my
well,
son, I'm not joking. Max, while he's writing his sentences for his homework, he'll ask me how to spell things. I have to look it up on Google. Because I don't want to tell him the wrong thing, and it's embarrassing.
I was
It's
doing
embarrassing.
I was doing math with Maisie.
I had to
a
look
couple
up how to
nights
spell
ago.
together.
Maisie was doing like
That
she's
wasn't
doing like
100%.
22 plus 14 or something like that, and she'd be like, "What is that, Daddy?" And I'm like, "I can't do it without my fingers."
Oh, math, I got it. The spelling, definitely.
Can't do the math.
spell
But
definitely.
it's just a lot. Like when we first got there, he was kind of overwhelmed within the
Yeah.
first hour because
Sensory
we're
overload.
like, come on, dude. He goes, I just want to go sit in the room, and we're like, no,
Not for this price
This
tag.
is not.
Yeah.
We have to go out there and we got to do stuff. Come
We're on missions.
Okay.
I said, buck up.
Yeah, like I want my iPad. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh god.
So now I kind of get the gist of what it is. So they bring you on a monorail that's like makes it look like a spaceship to this spaceship hotel.
No, you actually check in at the building. So there is no. The only time you're in some sort of transport vehicle is when you're leaving the Starcruiser and you're going to Batu, and that is in, I guess, maybe a box truck. I don't, because there's a parking lot you have to go through. There is no monorail.
But you don't see.
But you
the
don't see
outside.
any of it,
So,
no.
So yeah, it's immersive in the fact that they
Yes.
want to make you
Yes.
like believe you're in some
Yes.
sort of other
In
place.
space.
So
yeah.
like
Yes.
where you check in and go in is the hotel. It's just a long hallway, and they take you up a really cool elevator.
That's cool.
Because I don't mind paying for something if it like they're putting their all into it and they're giving you a value,
you
right?
do.
It's all about the value. So
Yep.
it's like if the actors are into it and the employees are into it and they didn't skimp on the costumes and the makeup and the all the stuff like that. I know it's going to be expensive. I know the damn the lightsabers are going to be $250 a piece and the drinks are going to be $13. That's just what it is.
Right.
Like you're at a crazy high
And you can
Right.
bring
Disney
your own
resort.
libations if you're smart enough.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't bring any because I really wasn't sure
Oh, they look in
how
your
that
bag.
was working.
You can't bring a
Yeah,
cooler
I don't-
like it's
Nah,
days
they don't
in.
look it. Not when you're going to a
Yeah.
resort. They don't.
So, I mean, I brought other things,
Yeah, but you can't
medical.
bring a big cooler of
No.
I brought-
White Claw.
No, but I
Tons
mean-
of coolers to Disney resorts. Maybe
No,
it's
but
different for the Starcruiser.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they
Yeah,
probably.
because I don't
I've
know. if they-
I've also smuggled things on Disney cruises.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess you could I mean,
There's
but
rules,
I think what
though.
Tom's saying too is also like wanting to do it like with a kid. Like I don't want to be pulling my cooler. That
Right.
breaks down that third wall.
You're not allowed
unless my cooler
scissors.
looks like BB-8. And he
Like,
like
you-
Well,
rolls
that's,
in.
and it's like this is so expensive. You'd be fooled. If like
So
you
just-
care about
yeah.
the drink costs, like
Right.
Yeah,
So
you're
let-
already in for it.
Stay in character.
Let's
Stay
talk
in universe.
Let's
is what I
talk
call
about
it.
price.
Okay.
Okay. What is this whole experience cost?
So per person for this past weekend, we were just under $2,000 a person.
Okay, $2,000 a person. Now is that what the standard? So if you have a family of 4, like I do,
expected
It's
more.
like
so you got
a-
3.
It's like a cruise, like when you're going on a cruise ship. It's not like checking into a hotel and you pay for just the room. You're paying for per person.
I mean, I know
rate.
that's a
Yes.
lot, but I think I expected more.
Yeah,
That actually sounds.
That's a
can- they
lot.
no, it's a lot. no, I expected a lot
I
more
mean,
for
$10,000 for a family of 4. Like, no,
Tom-
that's what I'll be in with the damn lightsabers
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
drinks
Yep.
at $10,000
You don't
for
have
weekend.
to fly here. And
Yeah, no, I'm
No,
just saying-
I know.
You
I'm
still
just saying
have
it's
that.
not. It ain't cheap, but
No, it's not
Yes.
cheap.
I'm not
but
saying
it's an
it's cheap,
experience.
but I'm also saying that I thought with the Star Wars price tag on it, I was expecting a higher per person. I really was.
You get a lot. Like when we went into Batu, as soon as we go through this like long tunnel, it's really awesome. Like there's cold bottles of water right there for us. And when we came back, they had wet towel, like like towels for the back of your neck. And I mean, they water for
I mean,
us.
that's
Like we
not-
could go there and just get a bottle of water and then go back out and do whatever.
again, and if you look around and you're like, this is worth the $10,000 experience with
it's
the
worth
amount,
it.
then
Yeah.
it's worth it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I just don't like it when it's like, oh, that's a little bobo here. They cut corners here. Like this person's only in makeup. They're wearing shorts
Your
and
legs
sandals.
aren't blue.
yeah.
I
No,
demand
yeah.
blue legs.
It's just there's attention to detail.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all this
Yeah.
stuff matters if you're gonna pay the high
But
price.
I think that's what they've been doing since when we talked to Joey, and Joey said, man, these reviews are bad. And now to the point where we've got Tracy who's gone there. I think that they've
They probably
really
made it
been
better.
working hard on like dialing.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think they may have even scaled the price down since they first opened
did.
it.
Oh,
yeah.
so speaking
I
of
think they
price, are
did.
you ready for this?
Yeah, because I think I heard. I think that's why I'm pleasantly surprised
Yeah.
because I heard other numbers that were like literally like, well, that's unattainable for anybody I know in the
Well,
world.
So speaking of
if you had a
speaking
family of
unattainable-
5 and then you wanted
No,
to
you
do
can't.
Yeah,
now we're talking like you're into the
Yeah.
$15,000
And
like
these people are doing
12,000.
this. They're booking. They're doing it with Animal Kingdom, and they're going to the other parks
Right.
because they're
Oh, yeah.
flying down here.
They're
And
just,
so
they're
is
just
like
blending
bookend-
this
yep,
in. I've
bookending
seen
it,
some
yep.
people that try to get it so this is like the last thing that they do,
It-
but it's
yeah.
really hard.
It needs to be the first thing you do because you're exhausted. You kind of need a day to sit at
Really?
the pool and like, oh my god, yeah, we were like done on Sunday. Ooh,
No, you're
my
good.
crown
Oh, you
fell
look
off.
great. Don't
So-
knock off your crown.
So here's what I wanted to say about talking about pricing. When you say they scaled it back, so actually last week they do offer a photo package. So you can go on there and they'll take you around the ship. You have your own photographer and a lighting person, and it's about 20 minutes for you and your family. And then they'll take you into the bridge if there isn't bridge ops training. You know, they'll take you into different areas, and some of the areas they can get you that are locked and secret, they can get you into to do cool
that's
photos.
gonna be
You can do that in the
expensive.
parks now too.
So
Yeah.
guess what? Before last week, it was $99 for the session, for a 20-minute session. As of last week, they upped it. $399.
Ooh.
So $399
I wonder
for
why
20
they
minutes.
jumped that
And
high.
they gave you an extra 10 minutes now. So
Oh,
now
so
it's
it's
a 30
30
minutes.
10 minutes.
F
Man,
off.
that's
And I
not
think-
enough for the guy to get his light on.
I think it's because so many people are booking it because they get really cool photos, and it was so cheap. So I think they're like overwhelmed with all the photo
Listen,
They're
sessions.
trying to price people
You're
out.
Yeah,
some
so now they're
dude
pricing
that-
people out.
You live in the Midwest. You own 17 gas stations. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and,
you own 25 subways.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You live in Wisconsin.
And then so you're making $600,000 a year, and
You're doing
then
great.
You're bringing your family down.
you have a Ford Raptor and a Porsche.
You're dropping $60K on a Disney vacation
Yeah.
with this, and like so.
No big deal.
$399 photo session. It doesn't even matter. Like you're,
Add it in.
You're dropping $60K.
Add it in. Yeah.
I didn't even get the $99 one because I have two people that going along with me that hate like photos being taken of them. So I said I won't torture you with this, but when I tell you that I want a photo, you better at least smile for the one photo
Sure.
that I want.
Let's talk
You know?
hubby and hubby's outfits.
Okay, yes.
You knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
Well,
You
with
did
all
that-
of their
So-
outfits.
But,
So this
for somebody that, I mean, I think he was excited.
He
but,
was.
But I also like,
picked
you know,
all of
I
it
don't
out.
think any dudes are like very few dudes are going to be like, oh, I'm so stoked that I get to wear all these crazy outfits.
I didn't buy him any of that
But
stuff.
it looked great. You didn't buy that?
No,
Oh,
he
I
bought
thought
all of
you-
his own
well,
costume.
he did
so
a damn good
what
job.
What he originally did was he went and bought us basically like Star Wars Halloween costumes, right? And
Yeah.
I was like Padme, sexy Padme or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't wear
Sexy
it.
Pad.
I put it
Pad
on
bra.
and I lifted my arms up and it went right up here. I'm like, okay, that
Hey,
yeah,
that's
it's
all
like
right.
I mean,
That's my kind of
yeah,
Padme.
it might be that kind of cruise.
Yeah.
Well,
Bridge training.
what was my percentage number?
27.
27.
I'm 26.
1%
You're 27.
higher than Sam.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
I use
very
less
good.
paranoid.
It might
That's
go
all
up
it is.
after
Your
this
wife
weekend.
is here. Does she know about your swinging?
No,
we'll
she
fill her
left.
in
She
later.
had to get soap.
So,
Excuse me?
so anyway, I joined Facebook.
Soapy butt.
Like I joined Facebook groups because they have these Facebook groups so you
Smart.
can learn about
Yeah.
it, right? So I was like up one night and I'm scrolling through this Facebook page, and it's all these people are like totally nerding out on making these costumes, and they're buying pieces from Amazon, and
think
they're
that's cool,
They're
yeah.
they're painting it, and they're weathering it, and I woke up my husband. I'm like, we're not doing it right. Like I started to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't just go be Padme. Like, what is that?
Yeah, you
I'm
don't
like-
want to be one of 1,000 Padmes.
Right.
You want to go there and you want to have like a
Right.
unique identity.
And I did laugh at the one lady that was in a short, fluffy skirt, Halloween,
Yeah.
she was like sexy orange thing from Star Wars, and I was like, look at
Yeah,
her.
yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
like that too. It has its place.
Yeah, it does. So then we literally just started finding cool things on Amazon, and I went through my closet and I figured out that I have a lot of pieces because I like it. It's the mixture of like steampunk because of the metals, Army Navy, and like fantasy, galactic, that kind of mixture.
You should dress as Bill Burr from The Mandalorian when you go.
So I want to ask you about your son. When it was all said and done, did you think he had $10,000 worth of fun?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
yeah. Well, I asked a tough question.
I hope.
Oh,
but
it's a failure. Then.
He did.
It's a
he
failure.
did-
You know what? Thanks for
He
coming.
did
We
say-
appreciate
If
you
I
being
look at
here.
my GD sons,
He did say best vacation ever.
and they tell me I can't wait to get in the truck so I can play on my phone.
Okay, well, he
I'm gonna
had his
scream.
phone.
It's wasted my life. What am I making money for? This is garbage.
I mean, it is a lot easier to sit and play on your pad than it is to run around and do
But
all
you're
the
on
missions.
your phone the whole time doing the missions. So when you're
Okay.
doing things and you're scanning crates, it'll say like it's locked. You have restricted access, and you hit unlock, and you have to actually solve one of those pictogram puzzles with the shapes. You know what I'm-
Percentage-wise,
It's
how
so-
much better
27%.
is this than
Good answer, Sam.
zip lining at Gatorland?
Oh my.
Because that's how I
He's
base
trying
all.
to throw shade at your
No,
experience.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
100%
so
better?
basically what he's
Is it
saying
80% better?
what
Give
he's
me
saying is
numbers.
You're too sweet to pick up on this, and this is unfair. But what he's saying is that you bragged about the zip line, you've talked about paddleboard, you've talked about all these different things.
I don't
that you
paddleboard,
love.
I kayak.
Or kayak, whatever. You have a zest for life, and you enjoy most
do. He's
things.
just
And
jealous.
he's asking
No.
you to put a number on it, and I don't think you can.
I'm just wondering if it's like, all right, I have some 10K that I want to throw at an experience for my sons, and like,
Why don't you go to Europe?
Could I? Well, they don't really like that. They don't want to go to see some stinky old vampire
Well,
house.
is
Like,
there-
I've been to Europe, but not that good.
Is there a Roblox house that you could go to?
Well, they like Star Wars, and I'm just trying to weigh whether or not
Absolutely.
Have they
They
been
would love
to
it.
Hollywood Studios yet?
they haven't yet.
Oh my.
He doesn't hate.
So
He doesn't
you
hate. He
get-
does hate theme parks, so they'll never go.
You get fast passes for the two main rides, so Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance.
Smugglers Run, old Glenn Fry.
So you can go and do those rides.
So people actually say if you get the earliest transport over to Batu, which is at 8 a.m., the last one is at 4 p.m. So if you miss the transport at 4 p.m., you have to basically walk to the front of Hollywood Studios
in your stupid costume.
In your stupid costume, hail a cab, and then have them drive you behind. Yeah, it's
And
like,
that breaks the third wall.
It totally does. So anyway, you can get over there. Some people, what they do is they'll get in the quick line first, standby, whatever, and they'll do that because you're getting in at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. The park isn't open yet. It's only people from other like hotels, early access. So you can go in a standby line, wait 15 minutes, you know what I mean, and ride it, and then do some stuff, and then use your lightning passes and do it again. We did not do that because we had lightsaber training at 1:45, so we had to be back on board. We left at 12:30 so we could go back on board and eat lunch.
I can see the confusion in your eyes, like
No,
when she's
no, I'm-
talking through all this. I can feel like you, like that. It seems to me like you're not
You
like.
have to bring Crystal because there has to be some
It
organization.
needs a plan. No plan van would
Well,
not survive
I was
this.
about
It'd be a
to-
disaster if it was just you and the boys.
No, well, here's okay.
They'd never get to anything.
They
No.
wouldn't.
No, you're okay. This is where you're wrong. Because we go on vacations, and I'm up
Oh no, I've heard this before.
early. Same thing with the weekend or whatever it is. Like I'm up early, and my family is.
I've heard this before. He's right.
asleep in the bed,
He's
and
right.
then
You waking up early doesn't mean that you're going to be able to read all of these
Well,
missions,
yeah, but
comprehend where to go,
He'll
what
have
to do.
the boys read the missions.
But all I'm saying is this sounds like something where a super organized family has to take advantage of everything to make it worth the money spent. Where it's like you get up.
You need
and
Andrea to go with you.
You need to be organized enough where you need to be up and breakfast and out the door by 8 o'clock, and that ain't the vans. We're out the
Yeah.
door at 11:45.
Yeah. You guys like use your brunchers.
Yeah.
Your brunch people.
We already missed half the day. We're walking in the hot sun.
Oh,
like
man.
there's
and
three
you guys
sons
go
on
to
that,
bed
too.
at like midnight. That's,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm-
And there's nothing-
There's nothing wrong with that. That's just how you guys are.
Yeah, but there is when you're supposed to be taking advantage of all the stuff that you paid for.
Well, maybe they should put some of that stuff at 11:45.
But they don't because the actors are off at 6. You know, they have to fit it all in a certain
know.
time frame. Anyway, so at the end, is there any sort is there one particular thing that you saw that you were like, all right, this experience
Once in a lifetime.
is something that my son wouldn't get anywhere else. Like I'm always looking for the value of can I
and
get a
Running
similar?
with Chewie. I mean, that was top.
That sounds
That was
fantastic.
amazing.
I'm being serious when I
yeah.
say that too. Chat room is asking, can you do the missions 24/7, or is there a cutoff point, like a best case scenario? Get to bed at 11:30, guys.
Yeah, I went to bed the first night at 12:30. Hubs and Kid went to bed at 10:30. I went up to the bar and played
Yeah.
some sabacc. If you don't know what sabacc is, it's basically like Uno with dice, and it's a Star Wars, like a Galactic
So you're
game.
gambling with some
Yeah,
aliens.
and they would. The
Hell
girl,
yeah.
Yeah, they brought me snacks. So that was. But yeah, you can go around and still go into the engineer room and tap things and move levers and like complete things, and then it'll
Did
ask
you ever see anybody that was there like you were that would not break character?
Yeah, I mean most.
Like the weirdos, because there are those weirdos, and I mean that with love, where they'll go there and like from the minute they're there, they are no longer Steven.
Yeah.
They are bounty hunter Schwan Quinn.
Yeah.
And they will assume that bounty hunter persona until they set foot back in their Camry and go home.
There were a few of those, but I didn't really interact with those people because they're a little too intense.
They're intense,
and they're actually there to interact the most with the characters.
And they
Like,
know
'cause,
all the
you know,
stuff, and they're trying to get them to slip up. Yeah, they're
But-
into it, man.
The thing is, the hardcore guys are usually poor, so they can't afford to get in there.
Correct. You're right.
And the people that can
Don't
care
care
that
about
much. Or
it,
at least
yeah.
the dads, they're just rich. They own 5 7-Elevens.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And
Hey,
they-
look, it's the furry guy. That's Chewbacca there. All right, whatever.
Yeah, they're just throwing money at their families.
All
That's
of
what
the
I
dads loved either putting on a cape, and
Yeah.
or putting on that leg belt thing that would hold,
Yeah, like a holster or
yeah.
some
I
sort.
mean, they all had their leather and it was.
Are
yeah.
there like blasters or
No,
just
so there's actually a rule.
Oh,
No
yeah.
blasters allowed. They actually
Yeah.
at the security gate when you're arriving to check in, they
That's a
take your
good
name
move.
and they ask you, "Do you have any blasters?" That's the only thing
Well, I
they
don't like
ask.
that. I want to bring my blaster.
I'll tell you what, I am a member and I pay my dues every year of the NBA, which is the National Blaster Association, over my cold dead body.
You cannot carry
I
your
can hear 'em.
lightsaber with the blade out. So you can carry it just a hilt.
Newsflash, there is no blade. It's plastic, all plastic.
Why not? Oh, you can't swing around your lightsaber at all
No,
times.
that's why. That's because
Are you out? I'd love it if that was the deal breaker for Tom. He's like, I'm out.
With my money, I want to
God.
feel entitled.
I have a feeling if you wrap that blade in
Yeah.
some hundos, I have a feeling they let you wing it around.
I
mean, you
want
can
my trashy
carry it.
rich kids to be smacking
Yeah.
things off the wall. With
I
their-
want my trashy rich kids to be kicking Chewbacca in the legs.
Yeah, I want them to be constantly just swinging their blades
And he's
around.
like, help.
Their lightsaber.
Whatever that noise is.
As my wife just stares at her phone and I am drunk. Like, that's what I want.
They're like, sir, please go back to your escape pod. I'm like, I don't care.
If I'm gonna spend 10 grand, I want my trashy rich kids to do whatever the hell they
Anybody
want.
drunk at the bar?
Me.
No, but did
Besides
but
Tracy.
did you get
drunk.
walked back to your escape pod?
No, I found it. No.
Like
So-
my dad used to
Nobody
say,
was like,
my
"Can
dad
you
used
go
to
to
say, my mom would get so drunk she'd have to suck the walls to get back to her room.
Well, so I'm curious
Don't
to like,
repeat that.
what
That's
if
terrible.
I left my toot pen in my truck or something that I
it
need
falls
to get,
out?
Well, no, I'm saying like,
You
can
can go
I just
back.
go like, I need to go to my car, and they just like, all right, they let you
But
blade
it's
fell outside.
valeted. But it's valeted. So now you gotta try and get
That's
the,
96
yeah,
degrees. You're
you
walking
know,
outside rummaging. You're dressed in
just put your
robes.
vape pen in your bag.
You're dressed in robes. You're digging through there to try and find.
Well, I know
your
that.
vape
I'm
pen.
just saying, like, how much of a pain in the ass is it to leave, come back? Like, can I go to
It's
McDonald's in the middle of the night because I'm
Yeah.
starving?
No, you can get food at the bar.
gotta be
up until, like,
disappointing.
I
one.
You're-
want McDonald's
it's
because I'm
disappointing,
rich and
yeah.
trashy. That's what rich, white, trashy men eat.
They do, especially for
McDonald's.
breakfast.
I'm
for
just,
two.
I'm just telling you the truth.
And then at some point, you're on the bridge pooping in a bathroom, all in robes. You got your robes around your ankles.
So, at the end of the experience, do they give you any takeaways, any bring homes that are cool?
We're all in this together. Remember, do they do
Yeah.
a presentation at the
There's
end?
a whole finale, because it's a storyline. So there is a
Does
story.
good-
There's a purpose.
Does
we're
good
doing
win
things.
always or no?
I am not going to give you.
They got to do it like the
any
Globetrotters, where
You
sometimes
can't ruin it. I mean, it's $10,000.
it would
That's
be
right.
awesome
No.
if they come out and and it's a rando, like a dice roll, where they come out and they're like Padme or whatever, who
Right,
is
yeah.
dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
The queen is dead, and everybody's crying.
Last thing on is like on normal cruises they have like activities
Topless deck.
that you
Yes.
could do.
They have
like,
droid racing for the kids, so you don't even have to bring. I didn't bring our droid. I had my hands.
Do they
full.
do a hairy chess competition?
Yes.
But with all aliens and girls are allowed because it's not
No,
nudity
they
if you
did
don't
a
know what those
game-
are.
There was a game that was kind of like, it was like know your space partner or something. So it was like,
Oh,
yeah,
they do like, where's the last
like a
place you made
newlyweds-
beat blurp?
Like a newlyweds game.
Okay.
They have a sabacc tournament, so you can actually get into the card
gambling.
game, and be in the tournament. And then, like I said, they have droid racing for the kids, and they'll bring out the little droids, and they set up a little track in the atrium.
Ice sculpture at the midnight buffet.
So from 1 to 10, what would you rank this?
I loved it. It was 10 plus.
Really?
I
Wow.
loved
Okay.
it.
That's
I have
good.
nothing negative. Besides the initial price point,
Right.
I have nothing negative to
Well,
say
that's
about it.
that's the
Nothing.
best negative to have is that I spent a lot of money, but hey, it was awesome.
It
But
was
I spent a lot
awesome.
of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't do anything about that.
That's
right.
fine.
I mean, it is what it is.
I'll spend money for awesome, but
Yeah.
I won't spend money for something like, this could have been better. I feel you cut corners here.
He
Yeah.
said, my son said, best vacation ever. And we said, really? And we go, what's number 2? He said, glamping. So he likes the Westgate River Ranch. That's usually
But
his
you know what?
number
That
Lot
also
cheaper.
I was gonna say, you know what?
Lot
You know what Star Wars
Hey,
just
you
did?
ride
It
a
just
Doom buggy.
raised the value of glamping.
know,
You get
I
on some
know.
airboat.
Now I got to buy one of those RVs down there with the outdoor kitchen, right?
Maybe you can do a Star Wars experience, but glamping version.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Tracy, thanks for coming
Yeah,
in.
thanks
telling
for
us about
sharing
it.
that. That was
Oh,
great.
yeah. So you did ask for takeaways. So they give you a pin. There's like certain special pins you get. There is a secret code to so not everybody even knows about this. This is a secret pin. These two
right.
here.
It's pretty good. I see
Yeah.
about $2 of trash in there. You get it for 10,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
$2 of trash.
$2 of Chinese trash. Totally worth it. I'm joking. I just like to ass on everybody's. Whatever they
Yucking
like.
on my yum.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I love yucking.
Hey,
My
I love
favorite
yucking
thing.
too.
That's my favorite
Hey,
thing.
yucking and effing. That's the new podcast name.
Oh, Tracy, thanks. I'm
Thank
glad you had a
you.
good time.
Thanks.
And
Let's go back.
anybody listening to this, you'll never afford it. I know
You're
that.
too poor. If you're listening to this, you're too poor
Yeah,
to
this
go.
is as close
so-
as you'll get. As
yeah,
close
so
as you'll
we
get.
hope you
I
enjoyed it.
lived vicariously through her social
Yeah,
media.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got a guest from the Orange County Library System, and we're going to talk BattleBots.
We are indeed. Vanya Walker's on the line with us right now. I was going to say on the phone, but nobody uses phones anymore.
Yeah, it's all video phone. I
It's-
knew this is the future. Star Trek.
They're exactly. But hey, thanks so much for your time and thanks for being on the show. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much for hosting us. We're really excited to be here.
Well, you guys do like the coolest stuff in Orlando, and we take advantage of it. In fact, my daughter, this looks like something I might have to sign her up for because today we are talking about the topic, a big topic in the Dennis household, BattleBots. Where are you, Tom? In because I don't know if you've watched the latest BattleBots that's on TV right now, and you can find it on demand.
TV.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and they've got multiple seasons and brackets and hundreds of robots, and that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Well,
The Sin City Slugfest is going on right now, and it is so exciting with the BattleBots universe.
Sin City Slugfest, baby.
Sin City Slugfest.
So, Vanya, tell us about the BattleBots Combat Robotics Club at OCLS.
This is something that we have had on our minds for a really long time. So we have been really lucky to be supported by the Mayor's Matching Grant from the city of Orlando.
Yeah, money.
And it's enabled us to buy robots, to buy parts, and now to get kids in the arena and actually slug it out with these things.
And this is the
So-
best part that Tom, we're taking this money and buying parts and destroying the stuff we buy.
Well,
that's
Yes.
the best part.
Let's talk about there is an age requirement from 11 to 17, which is good, by the way, because if I brought my son, they can't sit still long enough.
That's
and
also Seth Petrozelli's age requirement is 11 to 17.
There's 7 and 8.
I'll cut that out.
So I feel like they need to be a little older, and that's good that you have 11 to 17.
Have you seen the latest BattleBots? It's dangerous, man.
Well,
It's awesome.
Vanya, tell me about like what the kids get to do as far as like are they building? I imagine they're miniature robots, like the people in the real
They're
BattleBots.
not.
No,
They're pretty big.
okay. So
these are the robots. They are miniature in terms of what you see in BattleBots, because BattleBots are 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Those things could kill
These
a
are
human.
significantly smaller, but they are building these from scratch. They don't start built like this. They learn about the electronic components. They learn about all of the engineering that goes onto this. We challenge them to engineer additional parts to make their BattleBot even more dangerous. And,
That's awesome.
we also have them battle in an arena. And in the arena, sorry about my lighting,
No, you're
the
good.
arena is something where they'll be able to face off and really go toe-to-toe, score points, and have a lot of fun. So we're really, really excited
And
about
you
this.
have the particular bot that you're holding. If you're watching us on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, or on YouTube later, Tom and Dan Live. The bot that she's holding has that like a twirly blade on it, like a whack.
No,
See, there it goes.
Don't do this at home.
Yeah.
This is really unsafe.
So
but that's the weapon working.
Yeah. That thing, when it whacks you, it'll get you good.
Okay,
and that's the
Vanya.
kind of stuff that would break a human leg. That's why they can't have if they had a full-size robot in there swinging the way that Tom, and let me tell you, Orlando comes correct when it comes to like real BattleBots. We have a lot of real teams based out of Orlando because we have a lot of tech companies in Orlando. So we have a lot of bot teams in this town, and those things are murderous, man. They're dangerous.
So, Vanya, first, I think this is great for kids learning about engineering and putting together, basically a remote controlled robot that can fight another robot. And
the show is better than
awesome.
ever. It's better than it's ever been.
So, Vanya,
It is.
let's talk about the show for a second, and then the weapons.
The bots blow up now. They explode.
Well, okay.
They fly into the audience. Like, it's crazier than it's ever been.
Dan, did you see Hypershock in the Sin City Slugfest? That was a beast.
Not only
Robot
but
nerds.
From top to bottom. Now, Sam, from top to bottom, this show has done it right. Yeah, like some of the knockouts that you get this well, I just started watching it again since like when I was a kid. But they've pumped money into it now. The arena's bigger and has more like different hammers that can smash the bots. They have an announcer now that writes these little rhymes about each bot. So there's like personas. Each person has like almost like there's villains now. There's like good guys now.
They're trying to make
They're wrestling it up. Yeah, they wrestle it up a little bit.
But Vanya, let's talk the actual weapons, because I feel like there's one tried and true weapon, and a lot of the rest of them are fluff. And I'll explain. And the biggest fluff weapon is the flamethrower. And I've seen this throughout the history of BattleBots, where it's
a vanity weapon for sure.
Someone incorporates a flamethrower, and it never actually does any damage to it. Just shoots up in the air, and it looks exciting, but it doesn't do anything to actually, like, I've never seen a flamethrower actually torch
then
another
you have to watch
robot.
This season. Then you have to watch this season.
The only exception to that I've seen is Gruff. Gruff is actually a Florida bot, and Gruff's main weapon, it does flip, but it has two giant flamethrowers, and these are not show flamethrowers. These are flamethrowers where they melt the inside.
It's
of
more like a
robots.
blowtorch, less like a flame.
And I would agree with you. Largely they're fluff, largely they're show. They're cool to look at, but they don't really do anything.
What I liked is there was one, and I figure you'll probably know. It sounds like you know more about each episode, but there was one where the bot was already damaged, but they melted the tire treads.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
They used the flamethrowers because the bot was already immobilized, so they just came over, and then they started, I'm going to catch your tires on fire now.
Because
that's the best.
It's so insulting.
It's a fine line between showmanship and effectiveness, and Vanya will know what I'm talking about.
You have a little bit of both.
Because I feel like, if you can get showmanship and effectiveness, then you got the best BattleBot. But most of, like, I remember watching it back in the day, like, there would be one bot that would basically just be a flipper bot, and it would
flipper
be
bots are the most boring bots.
It is the most boring, but they're the most
Good
effective.
defense.
You know what the
they
flipper
would just
bot
go over and then hook the
what flipper bot
forklift
is?
forks under it, and then flip you over, and then win every time.
Flipper bots have a lot in common. Vanya, I'm going to make a lot of people mad when I say this. Flipper bots have a lot in common with all of you nerdy jujitsu guys out there. I know that what you do
where you get
is
on the floor and
effective.
kick
I know
up?
it's effective. I know that you can. I know that you can defend yourself. I know that you can choke people out. But it is the most boring. Oh my God! You're on the ground again.
You'll get
choking them
booed in
out.
UFC.
So
Now, have you
boring.
guys seen the new flipper bots? Like Bronco isn't so new, but Hydra, have you guys seen those flipper bots?
Hydra,
because
is that the one that throws the bots into the crowd? Like
it actually, it gets under there, and it has so much torque, it can flip it up, and it actually hits the lights.
It tumbles
in the top of the stadium, which are way high up.
You got to watch this with your sons. They throw and then if I remember correctly, the episode you're talking about, the bot falls down, and just the impact of it being in the sky and falling, parts fly off of it. The show's awesome, man.
Because I think you guys are absolutely right. Like traditional flipper bots where they're just flipping you over and you can't work. That's not exciting.
Yeah,
but
super boring.
The more modern flipper bots are really great.
And I like a thick blade bot.
Well, I like
a bot with not a razor blade, not a buzzsaw. I like the blade to be a 4 inches thick, rotating drum, and then it's just tearing parts off of other robots.
You like something like this.
Yes. There we go.
You know, where you got a nice thick
So
blade.
I can build that
You can build that.
for $90, Tom. If I were 11 to 17, I could build that.
Oh,
And you know
what
what?
if you're
the great
40?
thing is not only can you build it, you get to take it home. It's yours to keep. So we're
That's
teaching
awesome.
the kids not only the electronics and the engineering, but also the showmanship. So Tom, you were saying that it really is a dance between the showmanship part of it and the battle part of it and the electronics part of it. And really what we see here is the showmanship part of it's just as important. So the kids are going to learn to brand it. They're going to be decorating it. They're going to be customizing it.
You got to
for their
get a
team.
name. You got to name your bot.
It has to have a name. And actually, I was going to ask you guys, I have these 2 bots,
Tom and
they
Dan.
have no names.
Tom and Dan.
No,
So
well,
if
that's
you guys
boring.
have ideas, are these Tom and Dan bots?
No, hold
Okay.
on. Let me
All right.
see with you because it's got to be. And Vanya, you know, like the name has to make sense with the overall feel of the bot. So if it's Sling Blade, he's got to have
You can't
blades.
do that one now. You can't do that one now. You're making fun of special needs people
No,
now.
hold on. What
What the hell's wrong with you? You can't do
No,
that.
he says a local
Simple,
simpleton.
just a local simple.
The
Welcome to the arena, Arbot Simpleton.
But all I'm saying, if it's if it's a bot that has a hammer, it's got to be like a Thor or Smasher. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be. It's got to go with the theme of the thing.
Thor.
It does.
It's,
Or Smasher.
Vanya knows.
Yeah,
so-
but I think Vanya and even Samantha's going to come up with something a little more creative than
What is what I'm saying? That can't be Tom
Thor.
and Dan.
Thor.
Let me complain about buzzsaws for a second.
Okay.
Do
you want Vanya on the line for the buzzsaw complaints?
Well, because Vanya,
This woman has stuff to do.
You'll understand. And again, you can find out how to sign up for this course at ocls.info. It starts September 14th, and there's also some camps November through December. They're like separate mini camps, correct, Vanya?
Yes, for those we're going to be using Legos, and who doesn't love Legos? And the kids are going to design their own weapons, and then they're going to tear each other's Legos apart. It's going to be great.
That's fantastic. By the way, Dennis family, we use these camps because we have a very spicy kid. And during the holidays, spicy kids don't de-spice. That's a term that I invented.
Hold
so
on.
you have to get them in camps or they will literally go crazy because they need to be stimulated with cool stuff
We
like
love
this.
spicy kids here at the library.
Oh, yeah.
Vanya,
And you know my kid.
Vanya, I see that the out of district fee is $90, but so if you have your card, is it free?
It's free.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't, well, hold on a second. I messed up then. I didn't know that. I thought it was $90 for everybody, and I still I was okay with that because it's $10 a session.
It's completely free. And
they got
like
those
I said,
grants.
because
Hold on.
of the
Those grant
generosity of
monies.
The mayor's matching grant. You get to keep the bot. You
Hell
take it
yeah.
home. It's yours.
So Mayor Buddy Dyer's
Hold on.
gifting kids with library cards
Killer bots.
a murder bot.
Yeah.
I
Murder bots.
I paid $750 for my kids'
I don't
swim
know why
class.
you keep doing that when you can just go to the library.
Swim! They have a pool at home.
It's ridiculous.
And I watch it. They're back and forth teaching them.
You could have taken them to the Starcruiser.
At
Sorry,
the
Vanya.
Orange County Library System, we're swimming in knowledge.
Let me complain about blades. So what I never liked about the bladed BattleBots, although it seems like they had the most success,
They never
is-
get a hit.
Well, when they do get a hit, though, in my mind, I want it to be like the movies where the blade cuts their opponent in half.
Hot butter.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, the sparks are flying. But because of physics, all it does is when the tip it just shoots the other bot away from them because the
That's
blade
why-
just catches them and flings.
Okay, you haven't been watching. That's why, and Vanya knows, what they've done is they've taken that blade, right? They've reversed it, so now it comes up. It doesn't go down anymore. Now it comes up. And then they've thickened a little bit, and they use that as like half buzzsaw, half flipper, where you have this thing reversing, so when it comes up to you now, boom, and it throws you into the rafters.
I like that.
It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Vanya,
Free. I can't get over free. I said $90. I was wrong.
And-
It's free. That's
and-
crazy. If you're if you're out of district, you can pay your $90, but still, that's a value. You're getting 9 one-hour classes. You're learning, and then you get a free bot at the end. It's like, good
that's
Lord,
amazing,
man. There's less training goes into motorcycle classes at Harley Davidson dealerships, and then they tell people you can ride a motorcycle anywhere.
Yeah. We're about to do a segment with Tracy after this where $10,000 when we go to a Star Wars hotel. And you have to buy your own robes. Anyway, so what's your favorite weapon
Good question.
For in all of BattleBots?
Oh, well, I really like vertical spinners. And I love our Florida bots. So Witch Doctor, Hypershock, and then we have a horizontal spinner rotator. They're excellent
Have
bots.
you seen Witch Doctor?
And I have to say my absolute favorite is Witch Doctor. It's a Miami bot.
Yeah.
They're really involved in the community.
They have
take
costuming.
time to teach kids how to actually build the bots for competition, and they're really just a great team.
Yeah, Witch Doctor, they all
What's the
wear...
Witch Doctor's weapon?
They all wear top hats. The
Yes.
crazy, like...
They
they're-
have a vertical. They're very similar to this. It's like a vertical spinner that's more. It's like a drum. It's a little bit thicker.
Yeah, it's a thicker
and
drum.
it spins vertically. That's what Witch Doctor has.
Yeah, and Witch Doctor, there's some controversy. I mean, you got to watch this. You guys both. There's controversy. Witch Doctor ended up beating this one bot, but he was pretty close. And then it looks like they're going to get into a fist fight at the end. They start yelling at each other, and the judges have to pull them apart. And then the one team has to go and apologize, and they're like, we don't think the judges were right. And it was really good season. I was very impressed.
But what are the rules as far as there's got to be weight rules in like the regular BattleBots, and
Yes.
so there's weight rules and there's weapon rules, correct?
Yes, there are weight and weapon rules, and there are different classes. So if you think about the classes in any kind of fight, like if you're boxing, right, there are different weight classes. It's the same thing for BattleBots. So you can start very small, less than a pound.
Wow.
And then probably the most popular for people who are just getting into it is the pound weights. So they weigh a pound, they have to weigh less than a pound. And then there are weapon requirements. Like a lot of times you can't have fire. Even though we've talked fire's not very effective, you can't have fire in some of the lower matches.
It's not
or in
effective
certain
against the
tournaments.
other bots, but it can be effective against the crowd as the building burns down around them.
Can you shoot a net? I feel like a well-placed net shot would tangle
look at
up
this
in
guy.
a bot. You know, I'm just
Vanya, look at
asking
this.
her-
Look at this nerd over here with his nets.
No.
I will slice you and dice you.
You can't have any projectiles, right?
You can actually in BattleBots. There is a team that shoots projectiles. They are run by 3 lawyers. I'm trying to remember their name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Tom,
but
there's
they
so
are
many-
they're 3 lawyers, and they shoot these. They're about this big. They shoot these giant projectiles.
There's also
they're
a bot.
super fun.
Does it work?
One of my favorite bots, but it's one of the worst bots, is there's this long bot. I forget the name of it. It's called like Squib or something, and it's got an engine on one end or like a motor on one end of it with a wheel.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, no exaggeration, I want to say it's like 11 feet long, and then there's another wheel on the other end of it, and it has no weapons, and it's like a wheelie worm. It's like real bendy, and all it does is push the bot into the
Smee!
Shmee. It's a crazy, it's like a wiggly bot, but it doesn't really have any weapons other than it just pushes you around.
It has 2, but they're kind of tiny. There are 2 weapons on either side, and so the idea is that it hugs you.
Yeah.
And then it hits you with the weapons when it hugs you, but most of the time it doesn't actually.
Yeah,
do that.
it usually loses,
So-
but it's just such a weird and bizarre design, and the guy that has the bot the show has done a great job in actually making characters that like I remember, and it's funny that you and I both remember that. They've done a good job in rebranding that. It's really, the show's quite good.
Now, I haven't watched the new
I think your
show,
boys would dig it.
but there is an element, and I don't know if maybe no one would want this, but I feel like the audience would, and I would. Is the bot that loses has to go in the crusher. That is and then you get to watch all the work from one of the teams, and then it just gets crushed into oblivion.
There are elements of this in the.
I
They don't
would
have
like
a
that.
crusher.
Yeah.
They don't have a crusher, but they don't step in when bots are demobilized or immobilized. So you have guys that are coming in. There's a bot that's literally useless, and the guy's coming over with his buzz on. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you so good."
Like Vanya, I would like in the kids class, like whatever bot lost, like you just walk in the ring and just start stomping it,
Yeah.
in front of the team that you're like, well, you lost,
sorry.
and now I stomp your bot
Yeah.
to a million pieces.
Stomp
Sorry.
bots.
So Vanya, how do people sign up for this?
Well, they go to our website, they go to ocls.info, and if they search under classes and events for battlebots, 2 words, they will find all of our battlebot offerings, and then they can just register with their library card. If they don't have a library card with us yet, they can always sign up on our website as well.
Awesome.
Again, 9-part, 1 hour per day from 4:30 to 5:30. September 14th when it starts. It's an awesome program offered to for free for
really
card
cool,
members.
man.
It's crazy. Vanya, it was great talking to you today.
Great. Thank you. You too, guys.
And we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Great. Thank you.
See ya. She knows all about the battlebots.
Yeah, she did.
It's amazing what kind of things like OCLS offers. So they got like
They get them
I
grants.
screwed,
Like, you know how much
I screwed
camps
that
cost?
we
up.
got to sign up for one of those grants.
I sorry.
We need a
sorry.
grant.
I don't know why I said that. I wasn't trying to be racist. I didn't mean I sorry. I'm sorry. I messed that up, and I didn't know it was free. I just looked at my little paper and I saw $90, and I go, "Oh, that sounds like less than $100 for a BattleBot and 9 parts." Yeah, that's fair.
Or if you're outside of Orange
The
County,
district,
yeah.
It's
But
still
if you're
a value.
if you're an Orange County resident,
yeah, but you
free,
get
it's
to
ridiculous.
that counts for all the supplies and everything.
Yeah.
You get to keep the bot.
Yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
But
if it's a
even-
$10 a class,
Right.
it's
That's what I'm
insane.
saying.
Exactly.
Even at $10 a class, and you get to keep it. I mean, it's not like they're gouging you at all.
I mean, nothing's $10 anymore.
I know.
No.
There's nothing. Like,
I know.
I go.
Can't even park for $10.
My smoothie every morning is
No.
$10.
Whoa.
I'm like, what? Did peanut
Gross.
butter go
Yeah.
off?
And
What
don't
the hell?
even get me started if you want to add a blast in there. You want some extra energy or some B12.
I think the vitamin blast I've been getting is a scam. I'm like, how do I know that powders are actually vitamins? There'd be no
You
way for me
don't.
to taste
Kratom.
it. You know what I'm saying? It could just be any sugar powder.
Let's talk about
That's why your
Kratom.
throat's getting all messed up.
What happened
again.
to Kratom? I don't see as many people doing it. Did they all die?
No, they're still out there.
They're still out there?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't seem as popular.
I see it on like any head
I
shop.
see the light up gas stations. Yeah.
Yeah. It advertises Kratom.
Oh, my God, I
Big
never seen
green
those.
Kratom. Oh, yeah. I look.
Me and Tom go to some sketchy places.
Yeah, you're in Baldwin Park. You never leave. There's no Kratom shop here. I live in Castleberry.
I want a Kratom shop here.
But they won't allow it.
Maybe I'll open it. Baldwin Kratom.
They'll never allow it.
Baldwin Park Kratom.
You go down the street, Castleberry.
But I'll spell it.
Anything.
I'm going to spell it like Baldwin Park Kratom Shoppy.
I like that.
SHOPPEE.
Yeah.
Fancy it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Come Kratom Bar. Come on in.
Yeah. No, a shoppy makes
Come on in. Oh, yeah, your dog with doggles is allowed. Come on in. Come in to the old Kratom Shoppy. It's just me, Danny Diddy, your friendly Baldwin Park Kratom boy. Kratom man.
All right. Bye-bye.